What's poppin', y'all? One of the things that just completely went under the radar in the past couple of days is Gunna. Gunna released an album, and how quick things can change. Like we're in a hip hop revival right now. After we've been itching, it's kind of like we've been in a bear market of hip hop, and then now we're kicking off the bull market, boys. We're off. We're off to the races. And man, if you've been here in this journey the past 6 to 9 months where it's been rough, then congratulations. We made it through, and we held it down. This is where the real ones were made. But Gunna, who dropped one of the best albums of last year, early last year, came back with a hit song, just went crazy. Respect to him, musically, of course. He announced a new album, and in that, he was doing a rollout. I really wish that, for him, he had just put a pause on this until at least the beef cooled off, because the conversation would have been front and center. If he did this before Metro Boomin dropped his album, we would have all been paying attention to what Gunna said. He would have dominated mindshare for weeks on end into the lead up of the album. But that's not the case. Alas, it happens. But in the lead up, he was doing an interview, a print interview, and they asked him a couple of questions about his relationship with Young Thug. And these are the following questions. What's your relationship with Young Thug now? It's the same. It's love, always. Our relationship is our relationship. Pretty much a non-answer. So is it love from him or is it just love from you? And what is our relationship is our relationship? He didn't say, well, he did say it's the same, so maybe you can presume they're still cool from that, but people like Lil Durk, 21 Savage, and Lil Baby, among others, have either commented about you being a snitch or alluded to it in songs or on social media posts. Many people and media outlets have speculated that you aren't cool with those people anymore. What's your response to that? Are you cool with them or not anymore? None of those rappers, they're not on the case. They don't know legally what's going on, which I don't think you really need to legally know what's going on. And this is the thing, they're not on the case, but they can be informed by people on the case. So people on the case can hit them up and talk to them, like Young Thug, for instance, and be like, yo, this is what I'm going through, this is my case, and this is what Gunna did. And that's where they're going to get their information from. If you recall, 21 Savage, a lot of these people held off on saying anything for a very, very long time. 21 Savage in particular, I think he did a podcast with Meezy, his manager, and I think it was Academics. And he was like, yo, we're just going to hold off. We're waiting until we see what happens. And they were kind of getting pushed on it, but they didn't budge. So if it was because of their image, they would have done it right away. Lil Durk, on the other hand, I think Lil Durk has zero room for snitching, telling, cooperating whatsoever. Like he says, the guy lost his father for 20 years of his early life because of somebody telling on him. Now, if you want to actually do the accountability thing, if you're doing the crime, you went to jail because you were doing crimes, not because someone told on you. But that's just how he looks at it, and it's fair to feel that way. He might have done significantly less time if he hadn't been told on. Who knows? So Lil Durk isn't messing with that, and Lil Durk should be the standard for that. Everyone, they just like Gunna's music, and they kind of like Gunna, so they want to cut him bail, which I understand too, but we got to tell it like it is. Anyway, and he says, have you spoken to those guys at all? I talked to maybe 2 or 3 of those guys. I talked to them on the phone. Peacefully, on good terms? Yeah, peacefully. I really like how he's answering these questions. Of course it's going to be peaceful. They're not going to be yelling at him through the phone. But he doesn't answer the good terms part because they're not on good terms. Otherwise, they'd be standing right next to him. They stand to benefit. If everything's cool with Gunna, they're standing next to him because arguably, is he hotter than these guys? With zero help, nearly no features, by himself last year, I would say he's hotter than a couple of these guys. So definitely hotter than Lil Baby. He torched Lil Baby last year. 21 Savage, I would say he's hotter than him. A Gift and a Curse lasted longer than 21 Savage's last album. And Lil Durk, I don't know. It's up in the air. Because Lil Durk right now, he's in a lull, which don't take that negatively. It's just he's in this period between albums, between projects. He hasn't really dropped many singles. I think he's just doing a bunch of performances and gigs and stuff like that. And his marketing team isn't pushing a budget to make him seen everywhere. So he's just cooling. He didn't fall off. I'm not saying he fell back. I wouldn't even say he fell back. He's just in this lull, in this intermediary period between albums. And he says, a lot of people have opinions and comments on your situation. Have you felt that you've gotten a fair shake from people, or have you gotten a bad reputation you didn't deserve? I definitely feel like everybody's been misled. And when you're being misled, you got a choice to follow or make your own decisions. And that's what is being shown right now. You're being a follower or you're being neutral to be like, I don't know what their business is or what they really got going on. These are all excellent answers. But I got to add the but there. We saw what we saw. We heard what we heard. And we made our judgment based on that. Now, other people, they didn't want to make a judgment. They saw what they saw and they heard what they heard, and they decided to close their ears and close their eyes right after that, or cover their ears and close their eyes and say, nah, well, but he's not actually, but we got to wait for Young Thug to say something. Well, Young Thug's brother said that, but that doesn't mean Young Thug said this. It's just complete mental gymnastics. Like they're doing Simone Biles from like 2012 show on with the level of gymnastics that they're doing. Flips on flips. However, favorably for Gunna, he wasn't one of those people that is going to be called to the stand as a witness, which helps him a lot. If they have footage or images, memes of Gunna pointing on the stand in the YSL trial, dear God Almighty, I don't know if he'd ever be able to live. I don't know if his career would ever live that down. Have we seen any B-list rapper or like lower A-list rapper? Because I don't want to. B-list people try to sun people, but we can't say Gunna's A-list, right? Maybe now, but is he? Like, is Gunna on the level of a Travis Scott? Is Gunna on the level of a J. Cole, commercial-wise? Is Gunna on the level of a Kendrick or a Drake? No, we wouldn't say that. So that's why I put him B-list. But let's just say, at minimum, B-list rapper that's pointing people out on the stand? Nah. Well, 6ix9ine, actually. 6ix9ine was a B-list rapper at the time, and he was doing that. Was he A-list? In fame terms, I would say yes, but musically, maybe not. Either way, at minimum B-list, that's the answer to my question. We had 6ix9ine, and that went crazy. So if it was Gunna up there, oh my goodness, it would be funny, to say the least. And the YSL trial is still going on. I feel like we're kind of tapped out of that. I know there are people paying attention to it, and Cuff Boys, I know he's covering it extensively. So good on him for that. Like, a lot of the trials, it just feels like we're just waiting for the outcomes now. Our gas tank is on empty for how much we care before we get some actual breakthroughs or information on how long Young Thug's going to be in there or not be in there. And now, with the beef going on, that's all we're focused on. As for Gunna, I think he's going to be fine. I don't even think most people even saw this interview. So it's just a blip, and he's going to continue doing his thing. And now, he's popping. Do I think those guys will go back to kicking it with Gunna? I don't know, because they made a decision. And I think the conversation that Gunna had is with himself is probably, hey, even if these guys are willing to be back cool with me, I feel like they betrayed me at a time when I really needed them and I was at my lowest and I had to claw my way back into the game, making some of the best music I've ever made in my entire life. So for me to afford them any, not benefit of the doubt, but for me to let my clout or my success rub off on them again, when I realized I don't need them and I can excel without them, it's not even worth it at that point. Which, hey, he's right. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.